We're set to go for our senior boys championship game here between Foster and Templestowe College. Brent Sternberg and Jamie Hamilton still here with you. That was a nice quick turnaround, Jamie.
What's nice with
one of us in a rush.
It's nice of us with the 30-minute games. It goes
rapid, aren't they?
Yeah. I still get my day rate for this though, don't I?
I might have to take that up with Rap, I think, Jamie, as we're set to go.
We've got Templestowe in the white, Foster in the blue. So it's Templestowe who start us off. It's Brogan calling proceedings. Same rules as last game. 30-minute running clock, no shot clock, 5 fouls per... one timeout per team, excuse me. Ball's knocked out of the hands of Brogan. Possession stays with Templestowe.
We saw that running clock have an effect in the senior girls game, didn't we, Jamie?
Yeah, and with this boys game where it's typically a faster game, a bit more explosive, you'll still see these boys get up plenty of shots, and they're definitely not going to want to stop moving. And here we see Foster with their first possession. Slowing things down. Just as I say that, a three ball gets launched. Goes down there for Dersma. Gets us on the board. That's Lockie Dersma. And then responding immediately at the other end. Just as quickly as that.
We should mention as well, there's a couple of Dersma brothers out there. Of course, they have their oldest brother who is in the Australian Football League playing for Port Adelaide, so a famous football family, and obviously they're very good at lots of sports, which is obviously I'm very jealous of that.
Yeah,
I wasn't good at anything.
The sporting genetics.
I was good at playing those games on the PlayStation.
Absolutely. Pushing the tempo now, Alexander, and then slowing things down, getting through the D somehow. And that ball off the leg. And we'll go back to Foster.
We should mention these are two new teams that have made the final this year. Last year it was Bendigo Senior Secondary College defeating Bast Coast. Remember, that was the thriller that we had that went to overtime.
Speaking of thriller, Dersma's knocked down another three back to back. The wowie overtime games and injuries, and it was all on as Alexander can't knock down the three just to reply. Foster really coming out firing in this game, and it's all been off the hands of Dersma. Yeah. Here he is once again. Gets the ball knocked out, and Templestowe are off and running. Alexander, easy 2 points for him.
First time we've really seen them get forward like that on the break. Really similar to the two plays that broke the girls' game open a little bit earlier today.
Absolutely, and that just shows that running the court, how important it is. Alexander draws the offensive foul. He's doing it on both ends. Foul's called on Hoskins.
Looks like both teams as well have plenty of rotations, unlike what we saw in the girls' game. We saw the Warrnambool College a little bit handicapped, didn't we, with only a couple on the bench?
Yeah, and you often see that with those smaller schools and the regional schools. There's just not quite the same troops as there are at a school like Box Hill that can attract anyone they want, if we're being perfectly honest.
Well, we should say we are seeing a regional school here in Foster from out Gippsland way, so they've come through their region and that division to get here today.
Beautiful part of the world out there. Buckland gets called for his first personal foul. First free throw is good for Brogan. 2 for 2 from the line. Templestowe really needed that, just a little bit of a settler. You know, Foster really come out aggressive, speaking of aggression.
Yeah.
Just a bit of feet tangled up. That foul's called on Harvey.
He gets up a little ginger, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Harvey?
The legs really did tangle up, and you know that's always a scary scene when that happens, because that's a fast track to some ligament issues. Unfortunately, is that Quick pull-up shot. Gets the friendliest of bounces as well.
Come to play,
Zach
Foster.
Dersma.
We were mentioning off-air earlier about Templestowe and how they're a bit of a basketball powerhouse. Maybe not on the same page as Box Hill, but they're in a fight here early.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because they're so close. You know, and you often see a lot of, you know, teammates and friends matching up against each other, and what a play there. It doesn't matter what I'm saying about Box Hill when Templestowe are the ones who are really starting to look good. There's Harvey, who's making the most of his size at the rim. But yeah, you often see that, you know, teammates on a Friday night, but midweek they're nothing short of enemies. And then they'll see each other at training tonight and be like, hey, remember when I crossed you over? Or remember when I won? Like, it's always, as you see there, as Harvey, once again, really making the most of his size advantage that he's got. Responding with 2 points. Here's McCallum, who's got his first basket of the game.
Everything's going through this guy at the moment, Brogan for Templestowe.
Just picking the pocket there, though. Really nice play. Numbers advantage, but they can't make the most of it. Oh. Yes, they can in the end. Dersma's up to 8 points already. We're knotted at 10 apiece. Almost halfway through this first half. These guys are going shot for shot. What was that I said about defense earlier? There's not a lot of that going on right now. Launching the three. There's Harvey again. It's 5 straight points for Harvey. Back inside. Aggressive play, but the verticality wins out. Templestowe just really utilising their size.
I'm anticipating a timeout soon enough here, Jamie. Do you think both sides will be happy with how this is going, up and back, up and back? Or?
Well, they get, you know, this is, as we saw when we got here, you know, we didn't see the earliest games, but we saw both of these teams play in their last games before we got to this point, and that's how they were playing. They were getting up and down, they were running, and if that's the style of play that works for them, then there's nothing wrong with that, as the putback is cleaned up.
Let them play. Let them trade barbs.
But if that's how they want to play, you know, it works for the Sydney Kings in the NBL. Not a lot of defense.
That's the perfect highlight for our Rebel replay. That was lovely.
We've got another highlight coming up behind the back. Loses it, but he ends up getting it, and he just places it in nice and gently.
Cue it up for the replay. Let's see it again.
Doesn't matter how, just matters how many. Big rainbow three's no good. So we have a look at this. Yep. Not quite a dunk, but getting there. Maybe one day, young fella. Here, stopping and popping, but the three's no good. And you can see Foster starting to get a little bit too comfortable with what's going on right now, as they just let 2 points go in nice and easy without putting up too much of a fight. Getting a little bit too comfortable right now. Got to get back to their basics, get back to, you know, moving the ball, running some plays, getting some screens, getting some movement, because it's been a fair bit of individuality. Case in point right there.
The two Dersma brothers linking up there, but ball dropped short.
Calling for the foul, but no contact on that one. Oh. Just rimming in and out there for Brogan. You can see now they're slowing it down a little bit more. As I say, as the three ball gets launched, but goes down, so it doesn't really matter in the end there for young Jack. He's got 5 points. Read that pass perfectly and clear away.
Oy.
Smart foul there. Good foul there for Brogan. We've got 2 free throws coming for Zach Dersma. And that's a good foul. I like that one. You don't want to give up any easy points.
It's really the first time as well that everybody gets to just take a bit of a breather here while we watch over the shots from the free throw.
These boys are young. They can still run. When I was this age, well, I couldn't run when I was at this age, but
they've had their wee picks.
They'll definitely be feeling it tonight and tomorrow morning, that's for sure. Very good from the free throw line. 17-15. We've got about 5 minutes and change left in this first half. You can see Foster's turned up the defensive intensity a little bit, and Templestowe's responding in kind by just moving that ball around. They can't quite get the most of it.
They'll be disappointed with that. That was a great play.
Well, it was good possession from both sides. Get the ball moving around, but the defense still working hard. And the shot just doesn't rim out as the pass had a little bit of backswing on it. Yeah, well, I was right behind that one. It was almost perfect from Brogan, but at the last second, the backspin just kicked the ball back a little bit, forcing, I think it was Alexander, to just have to reach behind that tiny bit, which meant he didn't have the right angle for it. That's unlucky. That's frustrating. Pressure comes, and the jump... Oh, no, that just called for a travel. So Templestowe come up with the stop. And they're starting to feel it a little bit. They haven't really had to play that difficult defense from these last couple of possessions because Foster's been running a lot of individual plays and forcing contested jump shots. So they've had their little bit of rest, and now they can start running hard on offense here as they get a second bite at the cherry. Alexander got away with a little bit of a travel, but it doesn't get called, so that's 2 points for him.
We did have the ball not quite going in, I should say, up either end. And Ralph Agostino might have to play ball boy here. The scores are locked. I feel like in this first half, scores have been locked for majority of it.
Yeah, they really have been going shot for shot, and you know that it's a championship game. It's a grand final, and you want the two best teams, and these are the two best teams, and they're putting on a show for us here. And putting on a show for everyone watching at home as well. Inside, Brogan lost it. Foster off and running, 2-on-2 fast break. And you're just running into a brick wall there. That's not the best idea, and can't get the quick release. And then heavy contact over the top, and no one's arguing that one was a foul. So we sit on Brogan. Foul number 2 on him. And one of the benefits about having this really quick up and down play style is no players really get in foul trouble. So you still get your best 5 players on the court in crunch time when it matters most. Foul called. It's whistled on Bowen, doesn't like it, and I tend to agree with him on that one if I'm being perfectly honest. Looked pretty vertical on my end, but regardless, 2 free throws, and first one's no good for Dersma.
Been doing all the work, just can't polish it off from the line, Zane.
Well, sound like a broken record, but the fatigue really starting to kick in, and you've been running around all day, and free throws look easy, but when you're gassed, they're one of the toughest shots, and everyone's looking at you, and there's so much pressure. And
commentators, you can hear the commentators as well.
That's why I spoke a little bit more quiet. It's not tight enough to send that ball right into the Templestowe bench that time. I mean, I didn't miss my free throws, but but we're not talking about me.
I'll just take it your word there, Jamie.
3 and D. That's all I did. Jump shots. I don't want to get in the paint. Too much work. Speaking of getting in the paint, there's Davey.
Oh.
Shot's no good though. Good look, but it just can't quite go down. So down to the final minute now of this first half. 17-18, Foster have the lead. What a play from Dersma, up and under. If that's not a Rebel replay, I don't know what is. Have a look at that.
Can't wait to see that one again.
Got a foul called down the other end. Oh, showtime.
Dynamite.
So 2 free throws coming here.
Well, here we go again with that pressure, and also in the waning seconds of the half as well, Jamie.
Yeah, this will probably be the last meaningful play of the half. Doesn't want to waste any time, though. He wants to give Foster another chance.
I think he's turning back, Brogan, and just having a bit of a look at the clock.
So clutch.
Ice.
Knocks down both those free throws. 10 seconds left. Plenty of time here, but they're just throwing it straight away, and the coach just looks up and says, what are you doing? 5 seconds left. Gets the screen, steps back. Brogan draws the foul. That's a coach killer.
Yeah. This is exactly what we saw in the girls' game as well, with free throws right on the buzzer at halftime.
That's 3 free throws. Try saying that 10 times in a row.
Or even once.
I took my time with that one, but that's so frustrating.
These
for
are big
the coach.
points. Oh.
First one's no good. His teammates aren't bothering waiting for him as well. They want to sit down. Make the most of this break. Brody knocks down the second.
We'll be at least level at the break.
Yeah, and you talk about big moments. Can they get the lead going into halftime? Yes. Absolutely they can. Knocks down 2 of 3. He's got 5 points now, does Brogan, all from the free throw line as well. So they take a 1-point lead into halftime. And we can finally catch our breath because that was, we talk about quick games that, and even with the running clock, that one, I'm exhausted after that. But that's how these two teams want to play. They want to run. They want to go up and down. But I feel like as the half progressed, Templestowe did a much better job at adjusting defensively and, making sure that they knew they had to work and really had to put in the effort to make life uncomfortable. And for Foster, they just didn't quite adjust offensively to the defense because, both teams would have had their plans going into the start of the game. This is how we want to run our offense. This is how we want to run our defense. And then other than, talent and clear talent discrepancies, which there is absolutely none in this game, they are very, very even. It comes down to the coaching philosophies and the micro adjustments, and I feel like Templestowe have done a much better job at adjusting as the game has gone on. And Foster, although they're only down 1 point, and if there wasn't an unbelievable coach-killing foul going to halftime, they would have still had the lead. I just feel like they haven't been able to adjust, and they got a little bit comfortable in that first half. And I don't want to say selfish, but there was a lot of times where it was one player doing all the work and, forcing up shots that maybe they shouldn't quite have taken, and instances like that, and they let Templestowe back in the game, and they've already got the lead.
And lots of those points right at the end of the first half too for momentum as well going into the second. Like you say, only a 1-point lead. But they were the team that trailed for so much of that first half. Scores were either level or Foster with their noses in front. And they're back underway for the second.
And they're off and running early. Shot's no good though. And that's the stop, and you can see how much that means to the Templestowe boys on the bench. And that's what you want, especially going late into a game like this. You really need that energy from the bench. The rest of the teams have already cleared out, so it's not the loudest place in here, so you need that from everyone who's not on the court right now. And what a finish at the rim. Aggressive take and tough take. How did Templestowe respond to that? Because you can see that Foster want to come out running to start this game. The ball got a little bit stagnant at times in that first half. How do they respond? Jump shot's well short.
It was the perfect play a moment ago. You just saw it on the Rebel replay to halt the momentum. Get Foster back on top.
Absolutely. Read perfectly. Balls somehow stays in the hands of Foster. Here's Dersma. Calls for the screen and he gets it.
He'd like to direct traffic while he's got the ball in his hands, doesn't he, Zane?
It's smart. He doesn't like to get the ball out of his hands as he eventually kicks it to the corner. Tough look. Fading away.
Yes, this has been a great response.
What a finish there for Hoskins. There's a size mismatch and makes the most of that one. Inside to Brogan. Ball's whipping around here for Templestowe. 3-ball is launched. We've got a shoot off on our hands. This Templestowe bench are really bringing the energy. Dersma crosses over. Good hustle there from Bowen there for Templestowe. He had the speed disadvantage, but he kept his feet in front and busted up that play. Quick 3, well short.
Not showing any signs of breaking open, this one.
No, it's definitely going down to the wire. Has a tendency when we're calling together for these boys' games to keep going. Is that 3's off and they're running? Foster. Shot gets sent back.
Lovely.
Sent packing out of bounds there. Making the most of the height advantage is Harvey. Just sticking up those long dangly arms. Speaking of, might have got away with a bit of a travel. It eventually falls out and the 3 ball's no good. Brogan pulls down another rebound. He's looking good when he's running the offense. Leaves that shot short. 2-on-1 fast break. So they slow it down. No, they don't. They launch a quick 3. That one's off. Not a bad look, but shots are really starting to dry up now.
Yeah, he's had a couple of looks, hasn't he? The last couple of offensive possessions, Dersma, both been denied by the rim.
Here's Alexander on the wing, kicks it inside. Love this ball movement from Templestowe. Ball's deflected out of bounds. Will stay with Templestowe on the baseline. You can really see they're really whipping that ball around. They've gone for the same play as they did in the first half, and bodies in bodies. 2 Foster players just crashing into each other. There's a wide open, easy layup at the ring. Extra pass. That's the basketball we like to see, though. But Templestowe not slowing down. 26 apiece. 4 minutes left, and Bowen has just been living at that short corner, and eventually Foster realised it and busted open. It's the wide open 3 on the wings, no good, but flying in for the offensive rebound. And that shot's no good, and Foster are really starting to rue their missed opportunities. Bowen's shot's no good, and then just reaches in for the foul from behind. And we can all finally take a deep breath because 4.5 minutes non-stop there. And you see some tired faces.
You just wonder if either of these sides are going to take the ball by the horns here in terms of maybe just chilling out a little bit. I mean, both teams, I think it looks like they know that, we've got to score points here. That's what it's going to take to win. And that's why we've got this up and down pace.
Look, I don't know if you remember what it was like. As the foul's called, points are going to count. Bit of a weight room move there for Harvey. Just flexing his muscles. Yeah, I don't know if you remember what it was like being a 16, 17, 18-year-old boy. But if someone tells you to slow down, especially as a sports person, that one's certainly hard to do.
You get a rush of blood to the head and the blood stays there. That's what you're saying. It wasn't that long ago I was 16, Jamie.
Oh, yeah, me either. Pass is tipped out of bounds and we'll stay with Foster. We get a little impromptu break as the ball rolls all the way to the other end of the opposite court.
Sitting on a 3-point lead here, just about be the biggest lead they've had in the game, the boys from Templestowe.
There or thereabouts, that's for sure.
I mean, there hasn't been anything in it, really.
No.
A half and, 6 minutes or so?
Good play there from Harvey. Knocking that ball out of bounds once again. Just making life a little bit uncomfortable. Well, as uncomfortable as they can make it. Into the corner, puts up the 3. That one hits back iron. Great hustle on the baseline though, and the ball stays with Foster. Takes one way, then the other, back into that corner, and eventually third time's the charm.
In this second period, those Dersma brothers, they'd have to be, I reckon, 1 for maybe 6 or 7 from the perimeter.
They've certainly been struggling, that's for sure. And saying if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and it was a little bit broke for the first 5 minutes of this half, but they know how good they are as Harvey.
Oh, this is nuts.
Speaking of good, Harvey's had a massive second half defensively, and there is starting to put on a show from this end, is getting all the way to the ring. Doesn't quite get the right type of mustard on that one. Does Alexander. And then the foul's called for the reach-in once again on Templestowe. Three-point lead to the team in white. But Foster refusing to give up as Brogan read that pass perfectly, shaping to throw it down, but realised he's got about 60 minutes of basketball in his legs for the day. And then down the other end, what a nice touch. Yeah, by young Jack. That was a beautiful look. Got it above the much bigger defender's hands and inside. Bowen. And that's just perfect basketball right there. There's nothing else I can say. You know, Foster got into a zone and get that ball whipping around, get the big down in that low block short corner area. As the ball off the body of Foster, off the body of Dersma. And we'll go back to Templestowe, and you can really start to feel this momentum shifting the way of Templestowe as the margin is at 5 points.
That's a big margin, isn't it, in the context of this game? Dersma will be disappointed. He's had that offensive rebound. He had his name all over it and just fumbled at the inopportune moment.
Go back to Bowen in the short corner. Kicks it out to the far corner. That shot's well off. But this game's going to be won on the defensive end. It has to be. Because both teams are going to keep scoring. As the three's no good. So offensively, it's about shot selection. As really nice play there. Pocket pick. There's Dersma spinning. Now, shot's no good. It's about shot selection offensively. Taking good shots. They're not always going to fall, but making the right decisions. As Harvey launches the three. That one's off. Goes out of bounds and goes to Foster. And then defensively, who can slow the opposition down? How are they going to make life uncomfortable? Because at the moment, both teams looking pretty comfortable. The margin sits at 5, so Templestowe definitely feeling a little bit better, but we've seen how quick Foster can score. So this game is far from over, that's for sure. As the foul's called on Brogan.
Takes Dersma to the line. He hasn't quite found his range, has he, in this second half? But a couple of big points upcoming here for Foster.
No, just the 2 points in this second half. And for once, it's not me with the commentator's curse. That's what I'm known for in the NBL 1.
Stole your thunder, Jamie.
Please do. This gets the friendliest of rolls on that second one. The basketball gods are watching. Margin sits at 4. It's 36-32. We've got about 4.5 minutes left in this game. The senior boys championship game is the timing on that finish. A little bit of the shoulder up fake. And that's all it took for Harvey to get 2 more points to his name. How did Foster respond? 6-point margin, the highest it's been since early in the first half. Dersma just responds by getting himself to the bucket nice and easy. Here is Brogan. Done an unbelievable job as the point guard of this team, setting up his teammates as case in point.
And they know how much hinges Foster on those defensive stops, but just a bit overzealous there.
Yeah, the ball was clean up the top, and it's so frustrating as a player when you think you get the clean block, but the body just comes in after you from behind. And if you're jumping forward, it's an easy call for the official. I've been on both ends of that as an official and as a player. And the free throw is good. Margin back to 5. And Foster trying to cheat early, but good transition D there by Templestowe. And this is the time when the ball cannot get stuck in a player's hands as he steps out of bounds. That's just the defensive pressure. But an easy way to negate that defensive pressure and that ball pressure that Templestowe have been really turning up the last couple of minutes is get the ball moving. Passes. There's been a lot of dribbling and not a lot of ball movement, as that's how you do some ball movement right there.
Look at them on the bench. They
and the Templestowe boys are up and about. Tough looking three, and
that's a fair
that's
response.
how you respond right in front of your bench.
Sit them back down.
Throwing bombs either side. Brogan launches the three, and anything you can do, I can do better.
Okay.
Rebel are definitely getting their money's worth now with all the Rebel replays we need to see. And then the shot's blocked from behind. Oh my goodness. This is the most ridiculous stretch of play I've ever seen in my life. And now Templestowe can take a deep breath, draw that foul. Looks like they were going baseline for the alley once again.
Can we take a broadcast timeout so that we can show all
Can we
of
call a
those
media
replays?
timeout so we can get a deep breath? Here's the three from Brogan on the Rebel replay. Just walks up himself and says, "Thank you very much." Now this is actually really smart by Templestowe. They're slowing it down. 7-point margin. They're going once again. Draws the foul. Foul's called. Just a baseline as well. Didn't go up for the shot. Did Harvey. If he did, he would have had a couple of free throws coming his way. And the fact that he can play with his hair not tied up is frankly impressive. He's got a foot violation. Ball stays with Templestowe. I think he's got a headband hidden under there somewhere to keep it out of his face. If not, just genetics have just he's been blessed with everything.
Kudos to Bowen.
And they're slowing it down to Templestowe. Really smart. Taking the air out of this game, especially after the ridiculous minute that we just saw. And I don't even think they want to shoot. They just want to dribble this one out. But that's what happens when something like that nearly coming up with the turnover. Down to the final minute now. Foster trying to foul, but this ball movement has been just second to none.
Terrific.
Whipping it around, and no call from the official. They go in, and there's the 2 points, and that just about does it. As we've got the foul called in transition. The margin's out to 9.
They just played that perfectly at Templestowe, didn't they?
Yeah, they really did. And Foster just didn't quite look like they had as much intensity. They weren't trying to foul until it was too late. No foul called on that three, and it may have been there as the foul is called in transition. Clock stops at 21 seconds. It's a 9-point margin, and Templestowe have really dominated this second half in the end. And it really has come from their defensive intensity and their willingness to move the ball around and play some team offense. You know, they've been doing it on both ends, and credit to Foster, they've really put in the effort. But when it's all said and done, Templestowe really just played that better team game. And at the end of the day, teams, you know, you need to have that team. You need to have that ability to share the ball around and be willing to put in the effort and willing to occasionally not score as many points as you want because you're setting up your teammates. And
46-37 the final. And we certainly didn't expect that it would be a 9-point game in the end. It was hard-fought match. It was a brilliant match, actually, wasn't it? Absolutely enthralling. Templestowe just kicked away in the closing minutes of the second period. But on your point that you were making, Jamie, certainly the right team won, or the Templestowe cream, I guess, rose to the top in that second period.
Yeah, it really did. And, based on what we saw in the first, minute or so of this game, we knew it was going to be up and down. It was going to be high octane. And I mentioned it even in the first half that whoever turns up more defensively was going to be the team that won this game, and Templestowe absolutely did that. They had the size advantage. They controlled the paint unbelievably well. There were, I can't even remember how many block shots there were. There were so many. And, playing some really solid defense, getting their hands up, playing vertical. And then offensively, Foster really started to struggle in that second half because the ball wasn't moving around as much. There was a lot of one-pass offense, one pass into a contested shot, and then rebound by Templestowe, and they're pushing it down the other end of the floor immediately. Whereas Templestowe shared that ball around. They gave up good shots for better shots. They were setting screens. They were moving off the ball. All those fundamental things that good basketball teams do. And just like that, it went from a 3-point game for 25 of this 30 minutes out into a 9-point win.
I reckon you can put a lot of that down to their superior coaching as well, in some of the key moments in that second period, just like we mentioned at the time, just played it brilliantly.
Yeah, just those little micro adjustments, and that's exactly what happened. And, and then we got a bit of showtime at the end. We got a huge jam, and then we got a massive block down the other end, a couple of back-to-back threes. This was a really, really fun game.
The final score, Templestowe College 46, Foster Senior College 37, a 9-point win in the end. The win in the senior girls earlier today, the final score in that one, it was Box Hill Senior Secondary College 25, defeating Warrnambool College 17. So the two winners today, Templestowe College and Box Hill Senior Secondary. That might do us for today. Raf Agostino's over there saying, wrap it up, boys. That'll do.
Stop talking.
Shift over. Brent Sternberg and Jamie Hamilton. Well called again, Jamie. And in another
Always
12 months, we might be back to do it again. We just have the on-court ceremonies. We might leave you with the on-court ceremonies for myself, Brent Sternberg and Jamie Hamilton. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. The final score in the second match of today, Templestowe 46, Foster Senior College 37.